you gotta figure out what your goals are. Do you want to be successful or do you not want to be successful? Now, everybody's definition of success is different, but if you want to make money, if money making is your method of success, if that's what your priority is, then this video is for you. I'm going to tell you 5 pieces of advice that I would give to anyone starting out in sales when it comes to cold calling and cold calling strategy. Because cold calls lead to cold, hard cash. Let's get into it. Number 1, preparation is key. So when I talk about cold calling, okay, the first thing you need to do is figure out who you're gonna call. So let's say you're selling vehicles, okay? Let's say you're selling Hondas, okay? I sold cars. Cars is a good way to make money, especially if you're young, no education. Definitely recommend car sales out there. If you're selling vehicles, you need to figure out who needs a car, okay? So in that case, I think you could really call anybody because anybody needs a car, right? Or everybody needs a car. But let's get a little bit more specific. Let's say 16 plus, ideally 18 plus, around the country you need to be around 16 to 18 to drive. But then we also have to consider, well, who has the funds to purchase my car? So if you have high-end, high-ticket vehicles like BMWs, Mercedes, Audi, Lexus, Range Rover, Land Rover, Jaguar, you name it, you know you need to be talking to a older demographic. So figure out who your demographic is so you can make higher quality cold calls. Let's say you have a 1% close rate on an appointment with people ages 18 to 24, but a 2% close rate when it comes to a 25 to 34 age bracket. You need to be focusing on that higher age bracket because the effectiveness of 100 calls is equal to 200 calls to the suboptimal demographic that you'd want to reach. Number 2, now that you know who you want to call, first you need to build a script. Now, when I say a script, I do not mean a monologue. You do not want to talk to these people, you want to talk with these people. You want to engage with them, you want to listen to them, and you want to have opportunities in your script for the person you're calling to speak. If you read your script out to yourself and it sounds like or it feels like you're running out of breath, you're talking too much. Remember, the best way to talk to someone is to not talk at all. But ideally, you're going to talk some because you're the person calling them and they're going to be expecting you to talk. So we'll give them a little bit. But remember to hit on the important parts of your script. Don't leave any fat in there. You want to be direct. You want to be high efficiency with your words. I don't know the best way to describe it because it really just depends on your industry. But let's say you are selling medicine, right? Or pharmaceuticals, okay? Let's say it's a type of pill that saves lives for people in old age, okay? You want to hit on the pain points. So you already know who your demographic is. Older people, probably 65 plus, 55 plus, whatever it is, 75 plus, okay? So you already know who you want to talk to. What are these people worried about, okay? What do these people want? They want more years to their life. They probably have made money. They're probably retired. They got plenty of money. They spent their whole time, their whole life making money. Now they just want extra years to enjoy their wealth and enjoy their family. So you want to touch on those pain points. You want to touch on whatever they're going to be interested in. If you say, hey, I got babysitting service, but the person you're calling has no baby, they're not interested. But if you know they have a baby, start talking about, hey, I know you've got a kid at home, and hey, I know you haven't been on a date night with your spouse in 6 months. Luckily for you, I have a solution. You could hire me as your babysitter for $15 an hour. I will come and watch your child for you. I'm CPR trained, and I'll give you a call if I have any questions. But if you think that I'm not a good candidate, you could actually speak to one of my referrals here. Everybody that I've actually watch kids for can vouch for me and my success. I've never had any issue watching kids, so you have no issue having me watch your kids for just a couple hours. Whatever it is, okay? Touch on the pain points. okay? Touch on the pain points so they want to listen to you and not hang up. Number 3, listen actively, okay? So the last section, number 2, I was kind of long-winded, so I'm gonna just wrap this up really quickly, okay? Number 3, listen actively. So once you finish speaking to them, okay, remember, because we're talking with, not talking to. So once you finish delivering whatever you want to tell them, listen to what they say, okay? Listen to what they say and understand if they either are resonating with the pain point that you addressed, or are they bringing up a different pain point. Let's say you have a let's go back to the car example, okay? Easy enough. Let's say you're trying to sell someone a car. You say, hey, I know a car is really important and really essential to everyday life. You need to get to work, you need to get back home, you want to hang out with your friends, you want to go out to the restaurant whenever you want to. You should buy a car from me. Well, the person on the other line is probably going to say, well, good thing I already have a car. So how do you sell a car to someone that already has a car? So you've already listened to them and heard they already have a vehicle. So then I would respond to them, well, how long have you had your vehicle? Tell me a little bit more about the vehicle that you have. What do you like about it? What do you not like about it? Once you have that information, that's arming you for success. Now you have a better understanding of this client's needs, and you can start to address those pain points accurately and efficiently. Number 4, persistence pays off. So hopefully you set an appointment or set some kind of deal or close some kind of deal, whatever industry you're in. If setting appointments is your goal, closing deals, whatever it is, selling a product, maybe you're trying to get them to buy right there on the phone, whatever it is, okay? Hopefully you close, okay, on whatever you're trying to achieve, okay? But if you do not close, which is gonna be, I hate to break it to you, 99% of your calls, you're not gonna close. Now, that's gonna be different depending on your skill level and your industry, okay? You could close 50% of your calls, okay? You could maybe even close 100% of your calls, depending on what you got. I bet if I called people, 100 people and said, hey, I got $100 for you, I bet all of those would close, no strings attached, right? Now, ideally, probably not, because people think it's a scam, and maybe if I said it's 1,000, maybe the risk and reward is better there. 10,000, we'll go with 10,000. If I gave them 10,000, 100 people would close. But that's not realistic, right? You have a product, ideally the cost of the product or the service, the cost of goods sold, okay, is lower than the price that you're selling it to them, okay? So you're gaining in this transaction, but when you address on those pain points, you can still have them come out on top as well. After a great negotiation, both parties feel like they won. So your goal is to make money, right? So that's why it's financially skewed where you're receiving the money from them, even if your product or service doesn't even cost as much as they spent. But they don't care about money in this transaction, they care about satisfaction. And if you can get them satisfaction, then that's what matters to them. So be persistent and address those pain points, but be realistic with your goals and understand you're not going to close all your calls, okay? Not every call is going to close, so you need to be persistent. Do not give up. Do not cold call for a day and then go the next day without making any calls. You need to hound the phones. You need to talk to people. And keep in mind, cold calling does not even have to be on the phone. You could cold call through DMs, email, website inquiries, you name it, okay? It doesn't even have to be calls, but be persistent and be ravenous. Hunt for it. Do you really want it? Do you really want to achieve those goals? If you really want to achieve those goals, you're going to be persistent and you're going to get success. Now, number 5. This is kind of going in hand with the last one, but the follow-up is key, okay? So after your call, which a lot of this video is preparing for what happens when you don't close. Because ideally when you do close the appointment or you do sell the product or service, ideally you know what to do from there, okay? So let me tell you what to do when you're not getting the success, okay? Is number 5, making sure you're following up with the people you called previously. Hopefully you've made some notes, maybe you're tracking an Excel spreadsheet or a CRM, and you're tracking the notes from your call. So the next time you call, you can have some rapport. Because what's better than a cold call? A warm call. Every first call is going to be a cold call, but every call after that will be a warmer and warmer and warmer touch. And that's what you want. You want to drive those calls effectively as possible, and you can effectively make your calls when you're making effective notes. So, like the last example with the car, if you're asking them, what do you like about your car? What do you not like about your car? Maybe they say, hey, I've had this car since 2005, and my needs back then were different. I was just someone that was in college, and I just needed a car that got me to A to B with good gas mileage. So I got a two-seater. Or what do they have? A Crown Vic. They got a Crown Vic. But now they've got a family of 5. They got a wife and 3 kids, and it's really hard to fit all these people in the Crown Vic. Maybe Crown Vic's kind of roomy, but let's go with the example. So you sell them a minivan, you sell them an SUV. Hey, I know when you have your Crown Vic and your son really wants to go to lacrosse practice and you can't fit the lacrosse stick in the Crown Vic. Luckily for you, I have this SUV that's gonna fit it. Okay? Boom, addressing their pain points. But let's say they say, yeah, I love that and I would love to get the lacrosse stick in my vehicle. But I'm just not ready to buy a car right now. I'm just not financially ready. Okay? Well, okay, not a problem, right? So maybe you keep trying to set a close, it doesn't happen, you end the call amicably. Next time you call them, you know what their pain point is. Hey, I wasn't ready to make a financial decision. So you can talk to them about that. Hey, Mr. Customer, what's your situation like now? Have your needs changed? You still need that lacrosse stick? Well, now you're starting to recognize you gotta spend that money to make yourself happy and make yourself comfortable. What are you doing all that work for? I'm sure you got a job. What are you doing with the money? You should buy this car. You should buy this SUV. It's gonna fit your son's lacrosse stick. Oh, well, I'm just not ready right now. Keep following up until they're ready, because eventually he's gonna buy that SUV or that minivan and you want it to be from you. So this is my first video. I hope it helped. I'm gonna get better. This is the worst video I'm ever gonna make, hopefully. So next video will be better. But the only way you can find out is if you hit that subscribe button. So subscribe to the channel and I'll catch you on the next one.